Like Stephen Miller is a white supremacist. I mean, he is, and he's basically running the White House. They keep Trump busy with his decorating projects. He's got building the arch now. He's got his Oval Office design. And then you have these real sociopaths that are real anti-Semites, true white supremacists like Stephen Miller. And even though he's Jewish, he's like a Nazi Jew.
Well, look, I can't speak to what Stephen Miller's motivations are. I've met him. I've talked to him. I've interviewed him.
How tall is he?
Yeah, we're dying to know.
Oh God, I can't remember that.
Short?
I truly cannot remember.
Okay.
I am short. So my understanding of people's height is not great.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome to another video. So we're going to get into this absolutely epic episode or clip from CNN. I mean, you can already see it. It's tense. Abby Phillips gets called out for being a hypocrite, right? She always platforms people that are extremely radical, extremely hateful, that are on the left, and she never pushes back. But for some reason, she expects everybody on the right to push back on anybody that the left deems hateful or extreme or whatever that they want to label them. So this was absolutely epic. So let's not waste any time, guys. Get straight into the video. But before we do, please hit the like button down below. It really helps the channel out. Let's get into it.
And I'm tired of people ascribing a politic to Donald Trump. He has interests, and most of those interests revolve around himself. And I think people realize that Donald Trump is very transactional. And at the end of the day, the transactions that Donald Trump makes usually benefit in some way his worldview, himself, his family, his politic. That's first and foremost. And the thing that bothers me the most is that people think, for example, that MAGA, I know you mentioned Marco Rubio and J.D. Vance. MAGA's like, it's Ticketmaster. It's non-transferable. If J.D. Vance or Marco Rubio think they're about to inherit the MAGA base, there's nothing about J.D. Vance. Let me put a bow on this. One more thing, because what they don't realize is that even a part of this MAGA base, the fact that we're even mentioning Nick Fuentes, he's 4'11", he's misogynistic, and he's anti-Semitic, but yet he's somebody who has the pulse of the Republican base right now. They need to excise him.
That's absolutely
Nick
false.
does not have the pulse of the Republican base. It's what Democrats want to say to divide the Republican base when that isn't true. But I want to go back to something really quick.
Tucker Carlson was just bowing in front of him.
Tucker Carlson hosted him on his show. He did not bow, nor did he kneel.
But you mentioned J.D. Vance, and he also did not denounce Tucker for hosting Nick Fuentes.
What are we talking about?
So what does it say that Vance didn't feel like part of what, if he wants to lead the Republican Party, part of what he has to do is to police the boundaries of what's acceptable and what's not, and not say, hey, Tucker, unacceptable. Don't do that.
It's not up to you or myself to police speech in our country.
I mean, shouldn't it be up to J.D. Vance to say this is not part of our movement?
Are you okay? Are you okay with Nick Fuentes?
Here we go. I'm a Jew. Do you want to go there? And let's say this.
Yeah, I just asked the question. Was yes or no?
Yes, I'm okay. If Nick Fuentes wants to be able to speak freely in our country, he has every right to do so. Do I agree with his views? Do I think that they should become mainstream in our country?
Yes or no
Absolutely not.
But hold on.
I really want to go back to this for 1 second.
But this isn't about whether he can speak freely. It's about whether someone like Tucker Carlson, who is a very powerful force in the conservative movement.
You host people on your show all the time who call my husband and myself a Nazi. So how is that any different from Tucker Carlson going on Nick Fuentes having Tucker Carlson on his show? It's not different.
He's actually
anti-Semitic. He's anti-Semitic.
A Hitler admirer. Nick Fuentes is actually a Hitler admirer.
But he literally is not a good human being.
That is a different thing.
Excuse me, you have Jennifer Welch on your show very often, and you've never pushed back as she has called my husband a white nationalist.
Hold on.
That is no different than Nick Fuentes going on Tucker Carlson's show. It's not, and you should admit it.
Well, hold on. How is it anything similar? It's not remotely similar at all. Nick Fuentes sits around and says that he likes Hitler. How is that similar
What does Katie have to do with it? What does she have to do
it is
with
100. It is 100% similar, because if you're sitting with the likes of Joy Reid and Jennifer Welch, it's the same thing. It's the same thing. You're platforming them as well. They're a hateful group of people. They hate. First of all, they hate this country. They hate white people. They hate rural America. They hate conservatives. They believe that Trump voters are Nazi and fascist. They think they're racist, transphobe, homophobe. They call conservatives all types of names that you can possibly think. Jennifer Welch celebrated the death of Charlie Kirk. Right? These people love assassinations and murder attempts. They celebrated the assassination attempt of Donald Trump. You platform these people. It's the same thing. It's the same. The fact that Abby does not see the correlation is absolutely hilarious. It just shows you how disconnected that she is. But she's flustered, right? She did not think that she was going to be called out like this in the middle of her show. She was not expecting that at all.
Nothing to do with that. Literally
Scott,
nothing.
Scott, Katie is the person who just said to me that it is comparable to say that Nick Fuentes, who is literally a neo-Nazi, is the same as somebody, a liberal, who has an opinion, who is not a neo-Nazi. They are not
a hateful opinion.
The same.
How do you want? Excuse me. Let's go back to this point one more time.
But
Nick
Katie,
Fuentes can espouse an opinion on Tucker Carlson's show.
It is not the same.
And he didn't push back the same way you didn't push back when someone called someone in my family.
Hold on a
Nazi.
second.
It's not different.
Hold on a second. If
it's not.
Someone comes on this show and says, I love Hitler and I admire what he did, they would never, first of all, I would never invite them on the show and they would never be invited back. So those two things are not the same thing.
But yet you've gone on Jennifer Wilsh's podcast. It's the same thing.
They are not the same thing.
What I think is so, what I find
Listen, but Katie, but hold on, Katie.
No, we can
do you believe that Jennifer Welch has a right to say something negative about your husband?
The same way
Nick Fuentes, exactly.
Nick Fuentes has the right to say what he wants to say.
So you think that it's okay? Hold on. Do you think it is okay?
Look at her eyes as she's looking for that gotcha question. That's what she's looking for. She thought that was a gotcha question when she asked, do you think that Nick Fuentes should be allowed to say whatever? Yes. Yes, just like you allow anybody to come on your platform and say whatever they want, Nick Fuentes can say whatever the hell that he wants. This is a free country. That's his right. But look at her eyes when that gotcha question did not go through. This is hilarious.
Hold on. Say what he wants to say.
So you think that it's okay? Hold on. Do you think it is okay for Jennifer Welch? Is she allowed to say something negative about your husband?
Absolutely, and it's your job as a moderator then to push back.
So that's the first thing.
It's the same way you're asking Tucker Carlson to push back against Nick Fuentes.
But hold on, Nick Fuentes.
Is it not different?
Nick Fuentes is espousing. He's not describing someone else as a Nazi. He is saying, I admire Nazis. You don't think that's a different thing?
Do you believe my husband's a Nazi?
No, because it's just an opinion. There's nothing different. You just categorize the speech that comes from the right as hateful because you disagree with it. You don't push back when the leftists are being hateful. She's telling you, you had people on your show call a Jew a Nazi, which is hateful. But you didn't see it as hateful, so therefore you didn't believe that you should be pushing back. But whenever Nick Fuentes says something that you disagree with, you see it as hateful, so you believe that Tucker Carlson should be pushing back. That's the problem here. You're playing your own politics. You're not a moderator. This right here literally just proves that Abby Phillips is not a moderator. She literally just sits there and just pushes her own agenda, her own politics. She's a Democrat talking head. I mean, that's exactly what this woman is.
Do you think those things are different or not?
I don't think anybody around
this equitable comparison.
So listen,
for Nick Fuentes to go on Tucker Carlson's show
that you are making a comparison of two things that are not in any way the same. I acknowledge and listen, when
it's
people
happened more than once, Abby.
But hold on.
At one point, it's a common occurrence.
When people say their opinions, I don't endorse them, but I also am not responsible for their opinions.
So doesn't that apply to Tucker Carlson?
That is different from a person themselves describing themselves as a hate monger.
Is Tucker Carlson responsible for Nick Fuentes' opinions?
But hold on a second. I am also not a Republican Party official or a Democrat Party official.
Neither is
and
Tucker
so I'm
Carlson.
asking you about you as a Republican and who you think is the leader of your party, right?
Right
and
now it's President Donald Trump.
And I'm asking your opinion. Your opinion, okay? If you think that J.D. Vance is that person, do you think that he should be sitting at a table and nodding along with Nick Fuentes? Yes or no?
I don't believe J.D. Vance has ever sat and nodded along with Nick Fuentes.
Do you think it is okay for J.D. Vance to think it's okay for Tucker Carlson to sit and nod along with
I think it's okay for Tucker Carlson to have Nick Fuentes on the show the same way you have people on your show who espouse similar views.
Hold on, that's all I asked you. And we can just leave it at that. Because at the end of the day, that is what the Republican Party has to decide. Do they care whether or not someone who has a loud voice in their party is bringing on somebody who is encouraging neo-Nazism?
Wait,
and if you think that is
okay,
wait, if you think that's
okay, let's go back to the murder of Should we?
So we have to leave it at that. Next for us, when it comes to the raids and confrontations.
She got cooked. She absolutely got cooked. Oh my God. She wanted to end that as quickly as possible. As quickly as possible. Because she tried to throw as many gotcha questions back to back to back to back as possible to derail her. And none of them worked. None of them worked. I believe her producers in the background was telling Abby Phillips, hey, get back on track. Get back on track. Get back on track. And that's why she asked her that final question. And when she responded and it still didn't work. She's like, you know what? Hey, we gotta go. We gotta move on. We're done with this topic. Oh my God, Abby, you are. I don't even want to say the words I want to say. Yeah, you just got exposed. You 100% just got exposed for the hack that you are. Katie was 100% correct. She was 100% correct. If you can platform people like the Joy Reids and Jennifer Welch and all of these hateful people, then so can Tucker Carlson, and he doesn't have to push back. Now, the biggest difference is that on the right, people condemn horrible speech. We do all the time. If there's a hateful person, Nick Fuentes is not endorsed as a whole by the Republican Party. He's not. By MAGA, he's not. He's not at all. Now, the difference is that with people that are fringe on the left, they get endorsed or they never get any pushback. Right? Nobody, whether it be the prominent Democrats or people on the mainstream media, they never, ever, ever push back on the Jennifer Welches and the Joy Reids that are just so hateful and far left and extreme and extremely radical, right? They never push back on the socialists and the communists. They never push back on Antifa, right? They never push back on any of these people. They don't push back and condemn people that were celebrating the assassination attempts of Donald Trump, or even people that celebrated the assassination of Charlie Kirk. They never push back on that at all. But people that are on the right, when there was something bad that happened to somebody on the left, you always hear people condemning it, especially in Congress. But anyway, let me know what you guys think. Let's talk about this video in the comment section. I thought this was absolutely insane. Leave your opinions down below. And of course, if you're brand new, consider subscribing. I'll see you on the next one. Peace.